Hello Mechwarriors! Today I'll be opening off what it should be a series of tutorials for you. I believe you've seen enough of my combat footage, so it's time to share my knowledge with you and hopefully give you some useful tips in Mechwarrior Online universe. In my tutorials we'll take a look at brawler builds. We're gonna be talking about PPC and laser snipers. We're gonna be talking about, yes, you guessed it right, LRM boats and how to be, and last but not the least, and how to be an effective scout spotter for your team. We will also be myth-busting meta builds, and we're gonna be talking about the builds that I use in my solo queue when I drop with pugs. We're also gonna be talking about hero mechs. Are they worth buying? Which mechs are worth buying, and how to properly fit them up to be useful on the battlefield, not to overheat every time you alpha strike on an enemy mech that has an open CT. But in today's tutorial we're gonna be talking about how to buy your first mech. When you're buying your first mech, you should buy a chassis or a variant of a chassis based on your playstyle. Either if you're a ballistic warrior or a laser vomit pilot or a sniper troll, or if you're a lerm knob. Yes, sorry for my expressions, but that's how I describe my mech builds. I hope you don't mind. When you're buying your first mech, make sure that you first use your cadet bonus, which should give you about 10 million total sibils in the first 25 drops, unless you suck really bad, then I'm sorry for you. But with that amount of sibils, you will be able to buy any mech from Inner Sphere, or you will be able to buy medium mechs, up to medium mechs from Clan Collection. But before you decide to buy your first mech, give it a go with the tutorial mechs, trial mechs, sorry. Try to find the best mech that suits you, and then look in the Mechwarrior store which one suits you best. When I joined Mechwarrior Online community back in closed beta, we didn't have cadet bonus, we didn't have quirks, we had a poor choice of mechs, to be honest. We only had a few chassis available back then, and my first mech was actually a commando, which I regret to this very day because it was a light mech. I was new to Mechwarrior Online universe and I actually didn't know how to pilot a light mech properly. Yeah, and you guessed it right, I still suck at piloting light mechs, just as I sucked back in closed beta. The chassis, the minimum chassis, at least for me, is a medium mech. If I tried to be a scout pilot, I'm using my cicadas, but the best weight class for me is heavy mechs, because as you can see in my hangar, I have the most mechs that I have are heavy mechs, which is a total of 23. But back on to buying your first mech. Before you decide on purchasing your first mech, you should think about survivability, you should think about quirks, you should think about specs, you should think about loadout, and you should think about your playstyle. If you like to run around crazy fast and just shoot at every mech that you see, maybe you should decide on buying a light mech or a very fast medium mech. In that point of view, Clan Stormcrow should be an ideal option for you, because it runs at a 106 kph with speed tweak, which is pretty fast for a medium mech and can still carry a decent loadout. But if you're more into Inner Sphere mechs, then you still have a variety of choices. I've seen a lot of pilots like myself buying hunchbacks, because you have mechs that have ballistic slots like 4G and 4H, you have mechs that have missile slots like 4J, which is an LRM boat, and 4SP, which is a close range brawler build with SRMs, and then you also have the 4P version, which is a laser vomit build. So all four variants cover a variety of builds that you can use on the battlefield, and if you don't like one, you can always switch back to another one. My favorite hunchback, of course, is the 4G, which I bought it back in closed beta, and I owned it probably up to last year, when I sold it because I bought the Great Iron Mech. Hunchbacks also represent a good entry point into Mechwarrior Online. Like I said, you have 4 different variants which you can fit the way you like. If you're a laser vomit spammer, if you're a ballistic warrior or a lerm knob, it doesn't matter. Hunchbacks cover everything. If you're looking more at maneuverability, then you should probably look at the cicadas, the 3M particularly because it runs with an ECM module, and this gives you an insight on how to use an ECM mech, how to be an effective ECM scout sniper, and how to help your team with your ECM module. So now that you have decided to buy your first mech, you should hop into MechLab and deck your mech properly. Now, talking about your build that you have to use effectively on the battlefield, you should always have an eye on your hit management or hit efficiency of your mech. As you can see, my mech here has a 1.27 hit efficiency at the 42 Alpha Strike firepower, but that mech only overheats when I fire all my weapon groups. If I'm only firing medium pulse lasers or large lasers separately, my mech will never overheat because it has quite a decent hit efficiency. Now if I remove my large lasers, you can see that the hit efficiency with only medium pulse lasers is 1.71, which means that I can fire this group of weapons basically into infinity and melt enemy mechs. So yeah, always keep an eye on your hit management, always keep an eye on what engine you are running in your mech so that you won't get left behind, because running in a medium mech at 60 kph will probably get you killed to light mechs when they find you. The speed that you should be running is around 80-90 kph for medium mech and around 80 mech kilometers per hour for a heavy mech. So make sure that when you are building your mech that you have enough protection or enough speed to outrun the enemies that are gonna try to flank you and shoot you and in the end destroy you. So, what was your first mech that you bought? Did you like it? Do you still own it? Let me know what you think about my first tutorial in the comments down below. If you have any questions, I will gladly answer you on my YouTube channel or in-game. You can find me in-game, you can find me as Major Starscream. And I'll see you in the next one, Mechwarriors. Take care. Oh yeah, and there's one more thing I forgot. AMS. Always have AMS on your mechs. Because if you don't have it, I'm gonna kill you with my Lerm Nub builds.